Are you tired of sitting on the sidelines watching opportunities pass you by? You know you have what it takes, but something's missing. It could be doubt, confidence, or fear that you're not representing your best self. Whatever it is, it stops now. It's time to align your passion with your purpose and seize the opportunities that await you. I want to see you get back in the game. So join me and my expert guests as we talk all things image, branding, and a bit of entrepreneurship. So if you're ready to gain insightful tips, tools, and strategies to help you amplify your presence and define your impact for greater success, sit with us as we talk about it. Hello, and welcome back to the Image Connection Show. This is season 2 of the show, and it is a space where we go beneath the surface of image, branding, and entrepreneurship to help you live and lead with impact. This season, we're going to dig a bit deeper into leadership, image, and personal branding and talk about how they shape how we live, how we learn, how we lead. And today I have with me Lakecia Carter. Welcome, Lakecia.
Welcome. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Good morning. So glad to have you here with me. I've been looking forward to this talk for some time. So glad to have you here. Now, Lakecia, I want to talk about what you do and who you are. So she is a transformation coach, speaker, and self-published author of the book Unapologetic. With over 30 years of global experience in consulting and coaching, she is the owner of Pinnacle U LLC, a professional and personal development practice serving women of color across the globe. Her work empowers women to lead with clarity, confidence, and unapologetic authority. And I love that, unapologetic authority. And so your book really talks about that, and you talk about how to transform from the expectations of how we lead as people of color, women of color. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're doing this year. We are standing in our purpose. We are moving and using all of our gifts. And we're going to do that unapologetically. We're going to do it confidently without explaining and, just do the things that we have thought about doing, but have kept ourselves in the box because of the expectations of others. So I wanted to get with you and talk about that. And I'm eager to learn your perspective of that. So let's talk about Unapologetic. What made you first write the book and what led you to that?
Wow. Well, I'll say again, thank you for that introduction. I'm excited to be here with you this morning. And what led me to writing the book is interesting because I didn't have a plan to write a book. I've been on this journey for I'll age myself now, but I've been on this journey for about 30 years plus. And from the very beginning, I was usually the only or one of a few in my career field. So I started out in the IT sector, and I attended a PWI, predominantly white institution. And even coming out of college, I was always part of the smaller group. So I actually started out, I believe, it didn't have the word for it back then, but I started out just being of the few, the minority, as we call it. And so over the years, as I grew, as I elevated in different leadership roles, I found that I had a very unique experience that was different from my counterparts. I was the smartest in the room, but yet not perceived as the smartest in the room.
Sure. Yeah.
So over that course of time, it just came full circle that I had all these stories of being in corporate America, being in spaces that I knew weren't really designed with me in mind. I was more of the unicorn. And so I adapted to that, right? And that became very much my identity in the workplace.
Wow.
And on a personal level, being married at 24 and being married for 22 years, experiencing a divorce, being a working mother, even on my personal life through all those years, I just had all these stories and experiences where I realized that I didn't understand who I was and where I was in life. And so the stories were always there, but the urge to write a book about it and share it with the world
Mm-hmm.
came really by, I would say, by accident. I think it was God's plan, but it was certainly sparked from a group. It was Victoria's Youth Self-Publishing Cohort under
Mm-hmm.
Dr. T. Randall. And so we met and they challenged us to write a book in 30 days.
Oh,
So, wow, I've got these stories to tell. Let me get it out into the world. So
yeah,
I can help another woman on her journey so that she won't have to take the long road as
that's
I
right.
did. So
That's
that's
right.
really the immediate spark, but that's really where it was born from, was all the
Mm-hmm.
years of personal and professional.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And that's really why I started this show to
Hmm.
help individuals, women particularly, but there's a few men that come in here and there, but to help them to get where it is they want to go
Hmm.
and without having to go through the struggles that I had to go through to get here, to just have that information right there at their fingertips. Even if it's limited information, it is insightful information and practical tools that they can take and they can apply,
Yeah,
to their lives. So this
absolutely.
is why the Image Connection show exists. And so
Hmm.
talk about with what unapologetic looks like for women of color and in leadership. I mean, I feel like I know what that means, but I need you to tell us what it means to you.
I'm so glad you asked,
Yes.
because whoever's watching, if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay, I
Hmm.
want you to engage with this question as well, because I believe unapologetic is personal. It can mean something different depending on where you are in your journey. But if I may, I would like to read a page from my book, because there is a page 85, if you have it. But
Okay.
it is called the Unapologetic Declaration. And so to answer that question, I want to answer it in the form of what I've written on this
Sure.
page. So here's the declaration. I declare that I'm no longer shrinking to fit into spaces that were never built for me. I am a woman of purpose, power, and undeniable presence. I release the weight of perfection, people pleasing, and performance. I no longer hide my brilliance, mute my voice, or dim my light.
Yes.
I'm not here to be silent. I'm here to lead, to influence, to disrupt, to shine. My authenticity is my superpower. My story matters. My voice is necessary. Here comes my favorite line. Even in rooms where I feel overlooked, I will not overlook myself.
Um,
I will advocate, elevate, and celebrate the woman I am and the leader that I'm becoming. I will uplift and encourage other women to shine their light. So from this moment forward, I choose to be shrink free, unbothered, unstoppable, unapologetic.
that's good. That's good. I love that. And I know that that resonates with so many women. And
Mhm.
not really not even just women of color, but just women in general, because when we are in a certain role or position,
Absolutely.
sometimes we're not accepted and sometimes we still feel the need to shrink in rooms where that, like you said, were not built for us, but
Mhm.
especially when you are a woman of color,
Mhm.
it's an automatic sometime if you have not built up that confidence, that self-awareness, and that I'm showing up. If I'm in the room, I belong in the room. If I was invited into this room, then this is where I belong. And I'm going to stand in that. I'm going to stand in my power. You know what I mean? I'm going to
Absolutely.
stand in my authority and,
Mhm.
stop shrinking and not allowing others to make us feel
Mhm.
inadequate,
Absolutely.
what we're
Yes.
doing. And I love in the book where you say that unapologetic is your permission slip and
Mhm.
your power move
Yes.
to break the cycle of self-editing. Can
Mhm.
you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. Yes, very much so. I myself self-edited for a
Mhm.
number of years, and I know what that felt like. And at first, it feels comfortable. It feels safe,
Yeah.
right? If I just conform to the space that I'm in,
Hmm.
then that requires there's no work for me to do, right? And
So
so
true.
now I'm releasing responsibility to others for what I should be doing myself.
Mm-hmm.
So this book is really saying, you know what, you have complete control over your own mind and how you show up in the world. So where do we start? How do we actually do that? And so in my book, it's more than just telling you, hey, you need to prioritize self-care. Well, I talk about exactly how to do that. Where do
Right.
you start? I say that, you can't pour from a empty cup. You can't drink from an empty cup either, right?
Yeah. So
So
true.
what are we pouring into ourselves? What are those deposits that we're making in our own
Mm-hmm.
lives so that we can serve in a way that's most impactful?
Yeah.
So I think that permission slip means it's giving yourself permission. You're not asking for permission, but
Right.
you
Yeah.
have to give yourself permission in
Mm-hmm.
order to rise into the fullness of who God created you to be.
It's so true. That's so true. Self-image. That's the most important part of this is
Yeah.
to be aware of who you are,
Mhm.
know who you are, know what your gifts are, and know what your capabilities are, but then also being confident enough to embrace that and bring it into the world and not allow others to tell us, oh, well, no, you can't do that. Or, I don't think you're ready to do that. You get that a lot, especially when you're standing in a certain position of authority.
Yep.
Why are you doing that? So when you have worked on the inside, and make
Mm,
sure that our internal and external image is aligned. That's where the power is. That's where real confidence lies, and knowing who you are and working on that first. So, how do you help your clients or women of color to to stop shrinking and to show up as their full selves?
yes.
Because it's difficult to do.
It is. And we live in a day and time where I believe it's getting more and more challenging, I'll say.
Yeah.
We have all the images. I mean, even here, I love the LinkedIn platform. It's a wonderful platform. But it can be exhausting because,
Hmm.
everybody has a message. Everybody's putting it, and I'm included, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm out here wanting to share. And
Sure.
there's nothing wrong with that. But I think sometimes it has a detrimental impact to our mindset because now we fall into the comparison trap.
Hmm.
And one of the core areas where I help my clients is, okay, what we're going to do is work at the core of you.
Hmm.
We're going to unpack and unlock your superpowers. What are things that you're strong at?
Yeah.
Who are you? If you hear the term, who do you think you are?
Hmm.
Well, Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
You're right. That's
So
right.
then we have to start there with how do we look inside and how do we unlock those gifts, those passions, those
Mhm.
desires, and let's start there.
Right.
And then we build from there because now your inner dialogue, your self talk, we have to rewire that because now we need to understand the truth of who you are, not who you've been, the expectations that society
Hmm.
and companies and bosses and
Yeah.
culture has placed on us. So that's where we do most of our work, I would say,
Hmm.
in order to rise into a new identity or at least reclaim the identity that you've always had,
Right.
the identity that God gave you.
Hmm.
Have to get back to that.
That's so true. That's so true. And like I said, deep self work
Mm-hmm.
is where it all begins. It's what
Yeah.
it's what brings forth
Mm-hmm.
uh, you, the real you. You know,
The real you.
breaking down the barriers and the things that we've told ourselves over, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, over time, and the things that society has told us. So, what are some of the most common limitations that you see
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to women of color in leadership?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see that's really hold them back? That holds them back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so glad you asked.
Hmm.
Um, Most clients come to me with a very specific request.
Okay.
I want to increase confidence. I want to become a better speaker. I want to get the next promotion. And so, as we get into the conversations of again starting at the root, Some of the common internal barriers that I see, I refer to them in my book as shrinkage. So shrinkage, just to define that, is the act of playing small to fit in,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're
Yeah.
shrinking beneath who you were called to be. And so the first unspoken, unseen barrier is that of inadequacy. You mentioned it earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but that I am not enough. Now, they don't come and say out loud, I am not enough. But as they're chasing acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
chasing approval, chasing validation from others, that is saying that you're not enough. You don't believe
Yes.
enough because you're seeking that from
Great.
external sources, right?
Yeah.
That is a huge barrier because if you don't believe you're enough to begin with, then you're
Mm-hmm.
already, I would say, you're already impacting your ability to lead and impact the world because
Sure.
you're starting at a deficit.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that's related to that is self-doubt. So similar to I'm not enough, but this one says I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have the education. I'm not qualified.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then if you don't trust yourself, then how can others trust you?
That's right. Yeah. And it's
Right?
felt. That's
Exactly.
felt. It's an energy and it's just tied to
Yep.
presence. I talk
Yeah.
about presence. I'm really big on presence, but
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
positive presence, and an impactful presence, you have to be confident in who you are.
Mhm.
Leadership presence, any type of presence in order to attract the
Yeah.
the success that you want,
Mhm.
to attract the relationships that you want, whether that's business relationship
Mhm.
or personal.
Yes.
The first thing that people see is you and your presence. So presence, your power starts at presence. It's the beginning of everything. So when you're talking about
Yeah.
leadership, and leadership presence is what I want you to touch on. Do you
Mhm.
feel like leadership presence is only internal? I know that it is both well, I feel that it's internal and external. But do
Mhm.
you feel like how we show up and our appearance, our behaviors, the way we communicate, that definitely impacts presence? Can you speak on that a little bit?
Mm. I love that because you're right. Presence, it is seen and unseen.
Mm-hmm.
It's spoken and unspoken.
That's right.
So even if you show up all put together, as we all love to do,
Mm-hmm.
if you're falling apart on the inside, if you're walking in a brokenness on the inside, you might not look like it, but I promise you it is felt.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the way that presence shows up, I talk about shrinkage shows up in our thoughts, behaviors, and words. So
Yes.
when I mention the thoughts of I'm not enough, you don't have to say it out loud, but
Mm-hmm.
me, people know when you are chasing validation.
Yeah. It's
I've
so
seen,
evident.
I've done it. I've done it when,
Mm-hmm.
I may not have said the words, but I'm saying, wow, I actually don't feel I belong here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how might I project an image of some kind
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to be accepted? And I did that successfully. I mean, I had a successful career. Those things
Yeah.
served me externally, but they at the expense of who I was on the inside. So
Mm-hmm.
with each win, it was eating away a little bit more until I didn't really recognize who I was on
Yeah.
the inside.
Yeah.
I was empty, looking good,
Mhm. But
got
feeling,
the job, got the promotion.
yeah,
Everyone's like, "Oh wow, you're great,"
but
but
then you
didn't
go home.
understand the pain and the
Mhm.
isolation that I felt, on the inside.
Yeah.
So when you talk about presence and power, that can go in either direction. I
Mhm.
wanna choose the impactful direction for a
Yes. Oh,
sake,
yeah.
okay?
Yes.
But presence and power can also discourage someone. They may look at, they will not be able to achieve because
Mhm.
you are putting a projected image or a fake image.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
real. And so as leaders, we have to remember that we're not out here for ourselves. We are serving. We are
Mhm.
in service.
That's right.
We're not
Yeah.
always selling. while it's an important part of business, but we're serving.
Yeah, and it's not all about us. It's about those again that we
Absolutely.
serve, those that are seeking us, and then those that we are leading, those that are looking up to us. And in
Yes.
everything that we do, whether we're talking about presence, we're talking about image, we're talking about leadership, we have to lead from an authentic space. I mean, you can't do any of this if you're not genuine and authentic. And again, the only way to be authentic is to know who you are and then work on that self-awareness. And if you're not, if you feel like you're misaligned and things are not connecting, then
Yeah.
that's when you get a coach and you work with a coach and you start that transformational process and
Mhm.
evolve in your leadership. So if
Mhm.
someone were wanting to work with you, Lakecia, what are some ways that they can get in touch with you?
Well, there's several ways. One is through my website, pinnacleu.com. I offer complimentary discovery calls. They're 45 minutes. And as part of that call, we work on a couple of things. One is we identify your goals, your aspirations, your desires, more about you than about me. And then we spend a little time with, how I may serve you, and if I'm the right coach for you. Every partnership, I might just be the open door for uh,
Mm-hmm.
another coach or someone or another program. So I'm not about, hey, I need you to be my client.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really about serving you and listening to you and seeing how I might help you with some immediate goals.
Yeah.
That's really the primary way. Of course, I'm on all the social media platforms. You can DM me. And it may not, if you don't want a discovery call, if you just want to have a conversation, then I'm more than open to doing that as well.
Well, that's a part of being heart centered. You know, you truly want to help individuals. You're not in it just to for a dollar, you know, even though this is our business, this is our work.
I'm
But, you know,
unapologetic about that.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. And so I'm going to verbalize your links so you can reach Lakecia at Lakecia Carter on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
On Facebook, it's the same, Lakecia Carter. And
Yes.
then Instagram is going to be at Lakecia Carter. And then her website is pinnacle-u.com. So
Mhm.
you can reach out to her in any of those spaces if you want to learn more about her, maybe learn more about her book and how you can purchase her book. Um, this is the information to do that. And Lakecia, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will continue the conversation.
Thank you.
You're not just building a career, you're building a reputation and that of your business. At People Power Consultancy, we coach ambitious professionals to refine their image and shape a personal brand that opens doors. Because the way you show up is your message. If you're tired of blending in, second guessing your presence, or feeling unseen, this is your moment to stand out with purpose and polish. Visit peoplepowerconsultancy.com to start your transformation. Your next level has a look. Let's define it.
And we're back. We are back.
Awesome.
Thanks for those of you that are joining us. If you have any questions for Coach Lakecia, feel free to put them in the chat. We would like for this to be engaging. We can answer any questions that you need answered, or if you have any questions about myself or for me, we are more than happy to answer those questions. Before we ended, we were talking about, or you mentioned at some point about inside out transformation or inside out leadership. And you talked about how that begins with how we think, you know, what we think shapes our behavior, it shapes how we communicate with others, and then it shapes our presence.
Mhm.
But in leadership, in the corporate world, things have changed. You know, we don't really still have the rigid expectations, right, of
Mhm.
what presence and leadership looks like
Mhm.
in corporate. And that can be an advantage or a disadvantage because people are no longer poised as they used to be. They kind of come in as, of course, you want them to come in as themselves. However, there's no lines there. The lines are blurred. Have you
Mhm.
seen this shift in your work that women are dealing with, not knowing what to do, who to follow, because
Mhm.
the leadership is really not there the way it used to be? I mean,
Mhm.
say, pre-COVID, things were quite different than they are today.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they were. They are very different now. And again, being in this business for over 30 years, I've seen ebbs and flows of the leadership evolution. But I'll want to start by saying leadership, the definition of leadership. Leadership is not a position, it's not a title.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership is influence, impact, and about legacy, right? And so what I find and what I see is that many people, when they hear leadership, their mind goes directly to C-suite and the management team. And I know that that is an aspect. And I work with women who are probably in that middle management. They're wanting to elevate to an executive level. And so we're working very hard on presence and communication and how to give constructive feedback and how to develop people. So there are some hard skills and soft skills that I find that what we've traded is, personal interaction. We've traded that, and now we rely on the tools. I understand. Believe me, I'm out here too, trying to learn everything. However, nothing takes the place of human connection and relationships. And so what I find is that it requires more vulnerability. People want to know that they're talking to a real person.
Yeah. A person that cares.
Yes, not a robot or somebody who, crafted a message. And I see it all the time in leadership. I see some women of color in leadership just wanting to have a presence. But they've laid down their natural tone and you call it switching, But again, I want to see women rise into who they are, be authentic, be present, understand that you need skills, but you still need people skills. You still need relationship skills. Those are things that make you an impactful leader is to serve and to steward. If you are in service to who you've been called to serve, even if you're not in a leadership position, you're still serving. And if you're a steward of time, steward of resources, steward of your capacity, then again, that's what leadership is calling for now. Versus then where it was very much, who's on the org chart, whether they were qualified or not, whether they were the most knowledgeable or not, who cares? But now I believe the future is in your ability to connect with people who will then, turn that into profitable, results. But without the people component, then it won't succeed.
It doesn't work. And as you said, anyone can be a leader. Anyone. It is, it's not the title, it's you as a person, your behavior, your presence, how you connect with people, and then how your heart-centered component of yourself, how you lead a person, whether they are your immediate under you immediately, whether it's someone, it could be a friend. You're still a leader if you're providing, like you said, that stewardship. If you're providing information and guidance and whatever that is, you're a leader. You don't need a corporate office to be a leader, like you said, in a C-suite, because that is immediately what we tend to go to when we think of leadership. But I do feel that in that leadership position that we think about, you have to have a certain presence in order to be respected, trusted.
100%.
100%. And I, in my work, I know that comes with how we present ourselves. People don't know what you can do until they know what you can do. And the only way they're going to want to know that is if you are presenting yourself as approachable, trustworthy, someone that I feel like I can come and talk to and get to know a little bit more about what you do. So if I am showing up purposefully for the mission, for whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve, or so that someone else can look at me and know, well, that has to be the person that I need to talk to. because of how I have presented myself visually. You know, and some people feel like it's vanity, but I do know that it's the tool to get you from where you are to where you want to go.
Wow.
And it's a tool to help others to respect you, because if I tell you that I work in a C-suite office, but then I'm showing up, though I'm sure they know not to show up in a polo shirt and jeans, then I'm going to look past you. I don't really know what it is that you do. I don't know if you can answer my questions. I don't know if you can lead me properly. So
yeah,
credibility comes with how we show up. Would you agree with that?
I 100% agree with that. And I also know that, again, back to being real, being authentic,
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Again, if you're in a social setting or you're in other places, we do, to your point, it's adaptive. You have to adapt to, if I'm on stage, yes, I'm probably not going to show up with a certain attire. But even if I'm not on stage and I show up with regular attire, I'm still the core of who I am. And that's what I love about, like you said, knowing who you are is whether you're rocking a blazer or, some joggers, you're still carrying yourself.
That's right.
With that inner confidence that no matter what you have on, no matter what stage you're on, if you're on stage, off stage, you are comfortable in your own skin.
Mm-hmm.
And it releases you from this weight and this pressure of having to be perfect. Yeah. Because people want a real person. Like I always go back to, you are a soul, mind, body, soul. Like you are not just a statue.
Right. Yeah. No robot. People connect with people. They connect with real people. Okay. So we have a question here. They're thanking us for our time. Thank you for joining in. Do you find that that remote work can be more rewarding because the worker is faceless? They said they are a business owner and find they are more successful on the phone and online than in person, where I am usually the only person of color in the most settings. And I don't want to feel like I have to be faceless in my work because I enjoy interacting with others and enjoying building relationships, especially with younger employees, as well as more experienced people in their field, I assume. So do you think that that remote work is more rewarding because the worker is faceless?
That's first.
Do you want to answer that or should?
Yeah, I'm unpacking.
Yeah,
I'm unpacking a few
questions
components of that, and it is a perfect question because I experienced that so many times in my career, especially when we went to remote. And I will say that I wouldn't say, well, faceless is I know what you mean. You're not on camera. People can, but however, I think that can be a barrier to the rewarding, because it's like you're not able to show up fully as yourself. So I would say it's not more rewarding. I believe it is safer. Again, it's a safety blanket to be faceless in today's environment. I know that sometimes I don't want to be on camera, even though it is going to become a requirement. I think it is an area, but I would not say it's more rewarding because I believe that you're not able to show up completely.
Yeah, I agree. And again, when we're talking about showing up virtually, it is very imperative to be on camera, because where you are in that moment in your career, that's not where you want to remain, I'm sure. So we don't know how long you're going to be working remotely. But those decision makers that may sometimes sit in those Zoom calls, or those Teams or the virtual calls, they can't see you. They can't feel your energy, because you can feel your energy through the screen. Maybe not as much as in person, but we can feel your energy. So in order for you to be considered for promotions, to be consider for other opportunities, you
Yeah.
have to have your camera on. You
Yeah.
have to have your camera on, and you also have to be dressed appropriately when you are on camera. Please put a little time in getting dressed. I wrote an article. You still have to look good from the waist up. Put some time into showing up on camera just as you would in person, because when you don't, you're really losing opportunities. You're preventing yourself from being seen. You're preventing yourself from being memorable, so that when an opportunity comes up, a person can say, "Well, I saw so and so, and I've been watching them for a while. They interact. They're engaging. I can tell that they have the skill set that I might need for this particular opportunity." So please turn your cameras on.
Absolutely. And I'll just add to that. You mentioned I felt some strengths coming through your note, how you love to interact with people, especially the young people. And so I would lean into the fact that, you know what, this is just another, another vehicle, right, to grow and interact with people. And so look at it as, oh, this is just another way that I can truly interact with people, because I am on camera. And I think I'll just share one short testimonial around right around 2020. As you know, this was the time of much disruption in the workplace, right? So we had so much going on. And I was also transitioning to natural hair. So I was forced to not go to the salon. Everything was shut down. And oh my goodness, I was like, oh no, I can't let people see me going through this transition, because you know how it is to explain your hair in environments that they didn't understand. Like, oh yeah, you see this, but you're going to see something else if the weather gets to it. But anyway, I was able, I had to wear a scarf, during those times, because I wanted to be on camera. But by the same token, I didn't want people to see.
Right. Yeah. Because you were mindful of your appearance and what impact it has.
Exactly. So, and so I gave myself permission to be okay with being off and not always on.
Yeah.
However, I did learn different ways that I could, again, show up professionally, even though, I didn't want to have the do-rag on, but I ended up finding some earrings, a nice colorful scarf, and some makeup, just to, again, be present and be in the room. So that's just ways that I navigated that challenge.
Absolutely. And we all got into a place of comfort during that time. We put on our T-shirts. We may not have put on makeup because we were just, in the house. We had no motivation to do those things. Where were we going? But we still had to work and show up here visually. Someone said, I feel like I can get more done when I take out the gender and color factor, which might be true. Maybe those are some things that make you uncomfortable, maybe intimidate you, maybe. But again, if you're speaking to this regarding being on camera, don't think about who, like when you're on stage, they say, picture the audience naked. That way you don't really think about you're not thinking about them. So the same for this, take the color and the gender factor out, but still show up. Show up. Look past that. You can look past that. Teach yourself to look past that. What do you say to that, Lakecia?
Woo! That's a double whammy. I used to call myself, it was a triple threat for me: gender, age, and color, right? Yeah. Because for me, the work environment has changed so much. There is more, in many places we don't have the diversity, and so I understand that when there's so much to unpack with that statement. Not going to turn this into a coaching session. You need to DM me when this is over, because I need to talk to you. But if we then can turn those cards, not that we're playing those cards, but if we can turn that into, well, how can I be better? If I see those are barriers to getting things done, well, those are the core of who you are. You can't put those down.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
It's there.
It's there.
there, it's
Yeah.
there. And if we now say, oh, I can get more done if I take that out, the fact out of the equation. No, how about we add it to the equation and get
Okay.
more done than we've ever imagined we could do?
That's good.
Because
That's good.
we're
Yeah.
all
Two
we don't have
totally
to slow
different. Yeah.
Put
Perspectives.
them
That's good though. That's good
Yeah.
information. Really
Yeah.
good. And a user also said, another user, I took some time talking about dressing and experimented, and she loved, or whomever, and I loved dressing up, and I looked professional even at the grocery store. And that's great. You do want to take some time. I usually say take about a week, even when I'm working with clients and we incorporate something new into their wardrobe that they're not quite comfortable with. Take about a week to wear that, week or two wearing those outfits, or get several wears. And then over time, see how you feel about it, that experiment. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But dressing up does make you feel so much better. Getting dressed. I won't even say dressing up, but being intentional about getting dressed. You never know whether you're on a call, if you're in the grocery store, like someone said, you never know who you're going to meet. So you always want to be approachable and polished. You don't have to be dressed to the nines like I thought I used to have to be when I first got into image consulting. I thought every time I left the house, I had to be dressed, heels, and I was overwhelmed. It exhausted me because that wasn't my personality. It wasn't my personality, but I learned how to still dress impactfully. I learned how to be polished in whatever it is I had on, whether it was a t-shirt and a blazer, which I love. I love a good blazer, but just small tweaks and small details is really what matters. And putting some effort into not just putting on clothes, but actually getting dressed. It makes you feel 100% better. So do that. Try to change your look and try to change your wardrobe. Use different pieces and incorporate different pieces and see how you feel in it. I guarantee you that you're probably going to feel much better when you dress with intention. Yeah.
I agree.
Someone said they're not insecure, just practical, as you should be. As you should be. We don't want insecurity. That's not how we live. And that's certainly not how we're moving into No, we're going to be secure, confident in who we are, and know that we are, adding value to any situation that we enter. So
absolutely. And I'll add that it's not an overnight, where we are, it doesn't happen overnight. We are continually evolving and growing. And so how you feel today about on camera, or how you feel today about how you show up, just continue to grow, continue to lean in, and then you won't recognize yourself 2 years from now, because I am not the same person that I was 6 months ago. So I think just being open to evolving and how you feel today can very well change and shift. Just stay adaptable and pliable and flexible, and you never know what
prepare and prepare for your future self. That what we do today shapes our future self. So prepare for that. Be mindful of that. Be mindful of where you are, and of course be the best at what you do and who you are in that moment, but also see yourself in the future. See your future self, set goals for who you want to become, where you want to go. None of us want to remain stagnant. So there should also always be an action plan to how we're going to get to where we want to go.
Always.
Well, Lakecia, I think we are going to. You have anything that you want to add? Let me ask this. If someone were listening and wanted to start this unapologetic journey, how to evolve into this woman of color that you talk about, that you serve. And let us just say that this could be for any woman, but Lakecia's book and what she does, she serves women of color so that we can stop shrinking and feel that we belong, and know that what we have to offer matters and we don't have to edit it. We can show up fully in ourselves. So what would you say to someone's listening? Something that they can take away and apply.
So much to apply. Thank you for this opportunity. This has been an amazing conversation, but I want everyone watching to know a couple of things. One is that you matter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what stage you're in. I don't care what journey you're on, personally or professionally. You matter. You are important.
Yes.
You are here to take up space. You're here to just fully take up your space. There's no one else like you. There's no one else that can do you but you. And so I want you to lean into the fullness of who God created you to be. Turn off the comparison. Don't look to the left or to the right, but focus internally so that you may serve and that you may steward your gifts, your talents, your passions in the right direction. And if you need help with that, then I would be honored to help you walk on that road because you're not alone. We're all still evolving. Just because we're coaches does not mean that we figured it all out. But what we have is the tools and the support and the accountability that you need in order to rise into the fullness of who God created you to be. So I'm just excited. That's what I would share with all of you today, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. We are rooting for you.
Yep, we are. We are. We're going to make the most of this upcoming, not just 2026, but just moving forward in our lives in general. This is a year for you to take the reins, stop shrinking, do the things that you've been thinking about doing, but have been hesitant. Maybe you're introverted and don't feel that you can, feeling crippled about getting out in the world and showing your talents and your skills and using all your gifts. This is the time to do that, to reinvent, to renew, to recalibrate if necessary, to do the things that you need to do so that you can get moving and doing the things that your heart desires, for you to do. So no more shrinking. And so if you listeners, we appreciate you listening. And if you would like to partner with the show, you can scan the QR code there. Your partnership helps the show to continue to grow and help me to continue to be on this platform with you to share these insightful tips with the experts that I bring onto the show. And if you want to learn more about me and my services, you can visit my website, peoplepowerconsultancy.com. The Image Connection Show, if you're on YouTube, be sure to like and share and comment as well. You can reach me or find me on LinkedIn as Jenny Dewberry. You can find me on Instagram as @JennyDewberry_PeoplePower. Those are the places that you can find me. What else do I want to mention here? I think that is it. Lakecia, this has been absolutely wonderful. So good that I did not take. Did I take the break? I may have, but anyway, it's been good. This has been good. Thank you for the user. Thank you for your engagement. We appreciate it. And those of you that were listening, we hope that you were able to take some insightful tips away from the show, some tools and some things that will help you elevate how you lead and how you show up internally and externally. Until next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Image Connection Show. We truly appreciate you being here. We hope you'll join us again. And don't keep it to yourself. Invite a friend to tune in too. If you're ready for more insightful tips, tools, and strategies to help you enhance your image, brand, and help you on your entrepreneurial journey, this is where you want to be. Until next time, keep showing up with purpose, presence, and power. I'll see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Take care.